Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Charlie Munger, the 97-year-old vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, is quite an incredible character, and he's a genius. His lessons are timeless. Now, I've been watching all the swings in the stock market. It's been going up, it's been going down. The GameStop situation, GameStop went up, came back down, and then suddenly it's going back up, and I have no doubt it'll go back down again. And there are these volatile days in the stock market, and I have done another video talking about this incredible situation with the stimulus, where in the next 12 months we are going to be borrowing more money than we've spent, than we've allocated in the last 200 years. Now think about this for a second. This is a massive amount of money. We are in an age where literally things are completely out of control. It's the wild west. In fact, Charlie Munger commented on the GameStop situation, and he said this: that's the kind of thing that can happen when you get a whole lot of people who are using liquid stock markets to gamble the way they would in betting on racehorses. So you can hear the legend Charlie Munger talking about the unbelievable nature, the irrational nature of the stock market right now. And he also says the frenzy is fed by people who are getting commissions and other revenues out of this new bunch of gamblers. Yes, you hear CNBC speaking about retail investors. Charlie Munger is taking no prisoners. He's holding nothing back, and he essentially calls individuals chasing GameStop or individuals who are trying to catch the next short squeeze. He calls them the new bunch of gamblers. He says when things get extreme, you have things like that short squeeze. Pretty incredible comments from Munger. Let's roll the tape and hear what Munger had to say.
We have a couple of shareholders who are asking about this latest retail frenzy. So we have Gavin Smith who asks, what are Mr. Munger's thoughts on the recent GameStop short squeeze by social media and the resulting implications on short selling in the future? And another shareholder named Lee asked, dear Mr. Munger, please share your thoughts on the recent Wall Street Bets GameStop short squeeze. It seems to involve a lot of your standard causes of human misjudgment.
Well, it certainly does, and that's the kind of thing that can happen when you get a whole lot of people who are using liquid stock markets to gamble the way they would in betting on racehorses, and that's what we have going in the stock market, and the frenzy is fed by people who are getting commissions and other revenues out of this new bunch of gamblers, and of course. When things get extreme, you have things like that short squeeze. It's not generally noticed by the public, but clearinghouses clear all these trades. And when things get as crazy as they were in the event you're talking about, there are threats of clearinghouse failure.
My personal opinion is that we have a systemic problem because, on the one hand, apps like Robinhood make it easy to trade with $0 trading. But folks, they have to make their money from somewhere, and you are paying for it whether you realize it or not. Your data, your orders are rerouted, and that would be a topic for a whole different video. Here's what Munger had to say. He said, it's very dangerous and it's really stupid to have a culture which encourages as much gambling in stocks by people who have the mindset of racetrack bettors. Of course, that is going to cause trouble, as it did. And I can tell you that it's going to cause trouble again. We are at the start of a new era of investing where we could see an extended bull market, but we could see corrections that completely wipe people out. We are not in a traditional market. We will never be in a traditional market in the future by any stretch of the imagination. Let's roll the tape and hear what Munger had to say.
It gets very dangerous, and it's really stupid to have a culture which encourages as much gambling in stocks by people who have the mindset of racetrack bettors. And of course it's going to create trouble, as it did. And I have a very simple idea on this subject. I think you should try and make your money in this world by selling other people things that are good for them. And if you're selling them gambling services where you rake profits off the top, like many of these new brokers who specialize in luring the gamblers in, I think it's a dirty way to make money, and I think that we're crazy to allow it.
And Munger's not stopping there. Munger took a direct shot at Robinhood and other trading apps that make it easy to trade. And he said, if you're selling people gambling services where you make profits off the top, like many of these new brokers who specialize in luring gamblers in, check out that language, specialize in luring gamblers in, it's a dirty way to make money. And I think we are crazy to allow it. He also says, the wretched excess in the financial system is most egregious in the momentum trading by novice investors lured in by new types of brokerage institutions like Robinhood. He's saying that novice investors get lured in and start functioning as gamblers. He said all of this activity is regrettable. Civilization would be better without it. Folks, these are important lessons from someone who's been investing for many, many, many decades. His investing experience is 5 times, 6 times the investing experience. I would say 10 times, 100 times the investing experience of many investors out there, including myself. Let's roll the tape and hear from Munger. We can learn quite a bit. Let's watch.
It's not generally noticed by the public, but clearinghouses clear all these trades. And when things get as crazy as they were in the event you're talking about, there are threats of clearinghouse failure. So it gets very dangerous. And it's really stupid to have a culture which encourages as much gambling in stocks by people who have the mindset of racetrack bettors. And of course it's going to create trouble, as it did. And I have a very simple idea on this subject. I think you should try and make your money in this world by selling other people things that are good for them. And if you're selling them gambling services where you rake profits off the top, like many of these new brokers who specialize in luring the gamblers in, I think it's a dirty way to make money, and I think that we're crazy to allow it.
Last February, you spoke about the wretched excess in the financial system. Given the developments over the past year, could you give us an update on your assessment of wretched excess in the system? Where does it appear most egregious?
Well, it's most egregious in the momentum trading by novice investors lured in by new types of brokerage operation like Robinhood. And I think all of this activity is regrettable. I think civilization would do better without it.
And Munger laments on the whole situation where we stand right now and says human greed and the aggression of the brokerage community creates these bubbles from time to time. Wise people just stay out of them. I've encouraged our viewers and subscribers to stay out of this massive fluctuation in the stock market, and that's never going to change. He also says when you pay for order flow, and by the way, orders from Robinhood are rerouted to Citadel, who pays for the order flow. He says when you pay for order flow, you're probably charging your customers more and pretending to be free. It's very dishonorable, low-grade way to talk. Nobody should believe that Robinhood's trades are free. What Munger is saying is if you buy a stock for $25.10 and that order is being rerouted, some money could potentially be skimmed, and that's how Robinhood makes money. That is what Charlie Munger is saying. Let's roll the tape and hear from Munger.
You'll remember that when the first big bubble came, which was the South Sea bubble in England back in the 1700s, it created such havoc eventually when it blew up that England didn't allow hardly any public trading in securities of any companies for decades thereafter. It just created the most unholy mess. So human greed and the aggression of the brokerage community creates these bubbles from time to time. And I think wise people just stay out of them.
Should there be a tax on buying stock now that Robinhood trades are free?
Well, Robinhood trades are not free. When you pay for order flow, you're probably charging your customers more and pretending to be free. It's a very dishonorable, low-grade way to talk. And And nobody should believe that Robinhood's trades are free.
And this, I feel, is one of the most significant aspects of Munger's interview. He points out to the low interest rate environment. We are in a 0% interest, close to 0% interest rate environment where money is easy to borrow, where money is cheap to borrow. And this is creating essentially a situation where we are drunk on our own supply of access to money, if you will. Munger says this: everybody is willing to hold stocks at higher price earnings multiples when interest rates are as low as they are now. Basically, he's saying, hey, if companies don't make money and they have high price earning multiples, or in some cases negative price earning multiples, there are companies out there that have negative price earning multiples, which means they're not making any money. And there are companies that are significantly overvalued relative to how much money they make. And yes, don't get upset. Tesla is one of them. I'm not bashing Tesla. I'm simply saying that Tesla has a very high price earning multiple. This is what Charlie Munger said. Everybody is willing to hold stocks at higher price earning multiples when interest rates are as low as they are now. I don't think it's necessarily crazy that good companies sell at way higher multiples than they used to. That's Munger essentially saying that for some companies, it's okay to pay slightly higher price earning multiples. Now, in case you didn't know, the price earning multiples for Tesla are significantly higher than the price earning multiples for, I don't know, let's just say Bank of America. Let's show you the price earning multiple of Bank of America based on the most recent numbers we have at the time I'm recording this video. The price earning multiple for Bank of America is 19.42. In contrast, the price earning multiple for Tesla is, can you guess? 1,193.34. Yeah, it's safe to say that Tesla is overvalued relative to Bank of America when you compare them based on their market capitalization, based on the position that they have in the market, based on how much money they make right now. And this is a good segue, a really good segue into Munger's next comment, where he says, on the other hand, I didn't get rich by buying stocks at high price earning multiples in the midst of crazy speculative booms, and I'm not going to change. Timeless lessons from Charlie Munger. Let's roll the tape and hear what Munger had to say.
Previously, you have said, quote, it takes character to sit with all that cash and do nothing. I didn't get to where I am going after but I didn't get to where I am by going after mediocre opportunities, end quote. In the past few years, equity prices have increased significantly, and cash has arguably become riskier due to central banking policy. Have you considered amending this quote or lowering your standards?
Well, I think everybody is willing to hold stocks at higher price earnings multiples when interest rates are as low as they are now. And so I don't think it's necessarily crazy that good companies sell at way higher multiples than they used to. On the other hand, as you say, I didn't get rich by buying stocks at high price earnings multiples in the midst of crazy speculative booms. And I'm not going to change. I am more willing to hold stocks at high multiples than I would be if interest rates were a lot lower. Everybody is.
That was it, everyone. Interesting lessons from Charlie Munger. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Wide-ranging comments on the market speculation, on the entire bubble. I can tell you that I don't focus on day-to-day fluctuations in the market. Doesn't matter to me how the market behaves on a day-to-day basis. What matters to me is peace of mind, because you can never ever time the market. If you try and time the market, you're going to go through an emotional roller coaster, a psychological roller coaster, and the anguish and the trouble is simply not worth it. You want to be able to sleep well at night. You want to be able to know that you got a good stock and you got a good deal. In other words, you bought a good company at a good price, a company that you believe in and that you can stand behind. That is what matters. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I promise you, if you enable notifications, Charlie Munger is right there. I promise you he's going to like it. He does watch the Ignition Time channel and he does click the like button whenever he watches Ignition Time. Well, at least I hope so. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.